We're joined by my housemate, who you will be hearing but not seeing because this is in my living room and we have lights and craziness, so there's not enough room at the table, but I need at least 5 people so I can really show you the depth of this. My housemate is our executive producer for the Kickstarter, Donavin Santini, who will be playing Codename Crazy Ivan. As I already said before, we've got Jennifer Shinefeld playing Tundra, a character actually from the original IP of the Venom Assault board game. We've got Ray, you can kind of just see him right over there. He's playing Valor, who is a logistics expert and tech kind of guy. We've got our former American football player, codename Bullrush, and we have David Shinefeld, who is playing our high-level tech expert, Gremlin. Now, what we've got here is the miniatures, and Savage Worlds is a miniature-driven game. Now, there's another camera. You're going to be able to see some stuff here, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of play to that camera for a second. These are the original cards. Through playtest, we've determined a number of things that we want to change in terms of the gameplay. So the new deck is going to be updated to all the new rules and stuff like that. It's also going to be updated because of the Flash Gordon RPG, and some of the new rules are coming out just for Savage Worlds. Fortunately, I am in a really good position to be able to adapt and adjust to that. So you're going to see some new changes. For example, Savage Worlds fans, you may or may not know, there will not be a throwing, swimming, or climbing skill anymore. It's all under athletics. So I'm going to be changing all of the cards out. So these are what the cards are going to look like, though. We're actually keeping the design. It's a really, really pretty design. You'll see these really cool images and stuff like that. So these give you an idea of what they're going to actually look like. But since these are the old style, we're going to set those aside for now. And we're going to use these really amazing, high-tech, totally not, I'm lying, just plain print cardboard cards. But they do have all the right skills and the new rules in play. So what we're doing is we're just going to do a round of this to just kind of show you guys both the mechanical aspect, the puzzle and problem-solving aspect, and also I'm going to encourage my players to do the narrative thing. This is not scripted. I just randomized this deck. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to set a premise, and they're going to have to role-play this out so you guys can kind of see this for real. So, ladies and gentlemen, the premise, if you will, the situation is this. We've just concluded operations dealing with the Sire War. We have the Shroud of Mystery also being investigated right now. But your special mission team is being put together to specifically track down what you think, try to track down information and help us figure out what is Venom Commander's next move. That last video message, which by the way you should check out, that last video message told us that he has something else planned. We need you to get out there and find out what that is. Now, what I've just done is lay out the most open-ended concept possible to stretch their imagination, but this leaves it wide open for them to be creative about where they want to go and what they want to do. So however, that creativity is going to have some channeling based on the cards. Now, I have 5 players, so I'm going to set the complexity at the 2, 3, 4 level. So we're going to start with 2 challenge cards. And then the next round would be 3 challenge cards. And then the next round would be 4 challenge cards. You know what? No, I'm going to throw that out. I'm going to start with 3 cards. I want you guys to see them. There are 5 players deal with 3 challenge cards. So we'll have somebody that will back out, but somebody's going to have to operate solo. So I got to figure that out. So we're going to do 3 challenge cards here. Now, if we were going to do the full thing, I would also let them know what the difficulty is, which, by the way, it would be hard. They need 3 successes per. So you guys need to shoot for an average of 3 successes per. You need to go all in on this. This is going to be really hard. They're obfuscating. Also, the enemy leadership is going to be a D10 with a D6 wild die. So if one of the disastrous snafu cards comes, that's what you're rolling against. And then finally, the risks are pretty high, because Venom is on the offensive. But the reason we're doing this is we're tired of reacting. We're sending you out to counter-react. No, wait, be aggressive, yeah, that. So anyway, let's go ahead and lay out 3 cards, which will represent the 3 initial challenges. Now, understand, Ray's got a cool ability that will help them adjust this as it comes up. We'll get into that in a minute. But first, we have a tactical challenge. Now, the cards, as I tried to point out, they have 2 things about them. They establish what type of challenge it is, which also indicates what of the skills are required. It also sets the condition. And I didn't mention that before, but you get to find out now. The condition can be anywhere from like jackpot, bonus, bonus to all rolls, all that kind of stuff. Situation normal, right? No penalties, no whatever. More of the cards actually tend to have problems associated with them. This one has interference. Interference means that all rolls, both primary and cooperative rolls, are made at -2. So that is a tactical challenge at -2. Now, just to cover it real quick, tactical challenge is athletics, battle, there's a battle skill, boating, demolitions, driving, fighting, notice, piloting, riding, shooting, survival, and tracking. So we have that out there. Next, we have a technical challenge, situation normal. Situation normal means no penalties, no bonuses. Technical is computers, education, electronics, healing, investigation, logistics, that's a skill, and it's a sexy, sexy skill in this game, I promise you, as Ray well knows. Psionics, repair, science, and spellcasting. That one's relatively easy, so far not too bad. Let's see if I get to pull a nasty one on him here. No. Oops, I lost the card.
Hey. Don't make me go Valor on you.
So, in fact, what we have is a tactical major issue. I cheated. I totally cheated there. It's for the video. It's okay. We'll fix it in post. Anyways, another tactical challenge with a major issue. Now, major issue means all rolls are made at -4. There's also a failure condition on this card. Failure means the team lead suffers 1d3 wounds. So whoever the lead on this card is, if they don't solve this challenge, I get to roll 1d3 random wounds, and that you just take them. That's based on the quick combat rules, by the way. You'll note the system integrates existing Savage Rolls rule sets, including dramatic tasks, cooperative roles, and the quick combat rules. So it's 2 tactical challenges and a technical challenge. That's what they've got in front of them. Now, again, I cheated once. I totally admit that. But I wanted you to see something challenging. But the point is there's also interaction, and there's also covert, and that could have come out too. However, that isn't necessarily what they're stuck with. Ray, what do you got? Because I know you got a special ability that applies here.
Well, if there's any cards there that we want to get rid of, we can actually discard one of those cards and replace it with another challenge card. So if that last one that he cheated, we want to
oh, we can cheat right back. Let's do that.
Yeah. There is a small risk, though.
There is a risk because we could pull a disaster or a snafu.
Oh, please do.
Yeah. So
in that case, I will take care of it.
So,
all right.
Do we want to possibly switch one of those out?
I think we should.
For the sake of dramatic effect, I think that's fantastic. Let's do that.
We're not playing the camera at all. Now, again, I did totally cheat because I didn't set the cards up or anything. So it sounds to me like the team has decided that they want to use Ray's tactical logistics ability, which is a special ability he generated during character creation, and replace this card because his character is a logistics expert. He was able to readjust conditions. However, were the conditions favorable? I would say yes. Instead, they end up with a covert challenge at interference. So less of a penalty, only -2, gives you a lot more variety, and there's no failure risk either. Covert challenges are computers, because again, computer hacking can solve this. Electronics, same kind of thing. Investigation, notice, stealth, streetwise, thievery, and tradecraft. Tradecraft is the super spy skills. So now we have our final challenges. We have a tactical at interference, we have a technical, situation normal, and a covert at interference. At this point, what's going to happen is they are going to, in a meta sort of way, figure out who's going to be best to solve the challenge as lead, and you'll see us use the miniatures. If a figure's on that end of the card, that's how we indicate that they are taking lead, which means they're the one that has to make the final roll to solve the challenge. And if a figure ends up on that side, they're in support. That means that they're going to make a cooperative roll using anything they want, as long as they can tell a good story, to support them. You'll note it's a single round, so you can't play on all the boards. You have to figure out which one you're focused on, and when you're done, you're done. There's a cool ability, by the way, where one character can do multiple things across stuff. But this is the base stuff. So anyway, we're going to have these 5 characters working out who's going to do what on each of these 3 challenges. That's the problem-solving part. Now, I discussed things in terms of like a one and then another, like they're going to figure out the puzzle and problem-solving first, and then the storytelling. I would like to encourage you to realize that you might just have a really cool story. Oh, it's a tactical challenge. I have a great idea in my mind where I want to go and a cool scene I want to tell for a tactical challenge. It's all integrated. If you have a cool story in your head, you should step up and say, I want to do the tactical challenge. I got a great idea for a story on that. And it all integrates, right? So, take it away. What are you guys going to do?
Well, Bullrush excels at tactical challenges and is proficient at technical challenges as well.
We've got two major tech guys here in Valor and Gremlin.
I can probably do the covert by myself.
Do not mind over much. I think that it would be a fantastic idea since we are trying to encourage storytelling. I actually remember from the stories that are coming out of Twitter, there is a fantastic story that includes people like Diode and Suture and Viking. And they're all coming in and attacking because Venom is attacking the water sources. I think that would be a great story to tie into the tactical card.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Well, but she's just starting out here for story, not necessarily saying who's
For story. And obviously, Tundra is strongest in tactical.
By the way, as of this shooting, one of the things that we've launched, and Ray has been a superstar in helping get that going forward, but we have a ton of people doing Twitter-based storytelling. There's all these people who have their own codename characters. They're out there. Jennifer's actually doing Tundra. She's playing Tundra on that. I'm actually doing General Steel, and David is doing Gremlin. We have other people who are signing on. As she said, Suture and Mainframe and all these other Mainstream and all these other characters. So you should definitely get tied in. Then there's the Worldwide News Network, which Ray is in charge of, which is actually cool news stories coming out. And all of this stuff is integrated. So you should feel free to join in on our Twitter-based storytelling through the Freedom Squadron stuff. Thanks for that plug. But yeah, let's run with that. So she's got an idea for the tactical challenge on that. So
what is... Let's have whoever is leading, because you've got the interference. Who has the better tactical role? I've got a D12.
That would be you.
I would love your support, however.
Very well. You got it.
So, yeah. Okay, so to be clear, they're going to go full-on tactical with this. Didn't have to be that way. Anybody else could come in, like if David wanted to use his technical abilities or his computer skills to support a tactical challenge, that's perfectly fine, but they have a story in mind where they're just going all in full hoo-ah tactical on the tactical challenge. So that leaves us a technical and a covert challenge to solve.
Sean?
Yeah.
I have a question, actually.
Sure thing.
Bullrush wants to help Tundra with a tactical challenge.
Right.
Bullrush has a lot of other skills he can use, and the tactical skill that he has is not his highest skill. However, if he chooses to aid and back her up with his tactical, since it's a tactical mission, is there a bonus for using an appropriate skill for the appropriate challenge, even though it's not his strongest skill?
No, and that's because I wanted to encourage people to use whatever skill they thought would make sense and be fun for them story-wise to use. So I would want to encourage a covert specialized character to feel free to help out on a tactical challenge and not feel like they're diminishing the experience. However, I'm really glad you brought that up, because the thing is, whenever you're solving a problem, whether you're in the lead or as a support character, you want to use your best skills. So it makes sense that you would roll your best roll because you want to get the best possible result. It's not an official rule, but it's a chance for me to bring out this idea. When players intentionally use a suboptimal skill, they choose, you know what, this is not my best skill, but I want to use my science because my character did study some science and I just feel like that applies to the story, and they tell a really cool story. Using that suboptimal skill and telling a cool story is absolutely worth the penny. So that's something I definitely recommend that GMs consider doing. Also, while I'm at it, another thing, and this will be in the rules, is that when players intentionally invoke a hindrance to cause themselves a penalty during the plans and operations rules, if they invoke a minor hindrance, they'll end up with a -1 additional penalty on top of the penalties that exist. If they invoke a major hindrance, they'll end up with a -2 that just stacks on top of all that. And of course, they got to tell a story about how that hindrance came into play. Now, once they've done that, once they get through it, once that challenge is concluded, win or fail, then they will earn 1 or 2 bonus bennies. 1 if it was a minor, 2 if it was a major hindrance. That's a cool way to get people to bring their hindrances intentionally into play. They won't get the bennies to solve the challenge, but they'll get the bennies as a reward, win or fail, for having brought the hindrance into play.
Got it.
So, based on that, though, at this point, Ed also being very tactical. At this point, I think it's just a thematic thing. They're like, we're going all hua in on a tactical thing, and they're going to go combat on that. As back to the board, we have a technical and a covert challenge. Now, as I recall, David, you said you felt you could probably handle the covert challenge. I mean, computers is useful in both tactical and technical, as is electronics, so
Yep.
that's a thing. And does anybody else have some thoughts on this? We have a technical at situation normal and a covert at interference. I'm pointing off to Ivan, who's behind the camera right now, so that he got a sense of what's going on. We've got Bullrush supporting Tundra. We currently have Gremlin, you, Crazy Ivan, and Vlad is his character's name, but Crazy Ivan's his code name, and codename Valor.
I can take the technical if you want to take the covert.
Well, we do need one that is by themselves.
Yeah,
Are you strong enough to do the technical by yourself?
I think between Gremlin and I believe that we are both strong enough to handle those missions on our own. So then it's just a matter of where you want to plug in with Crazy Ivan.
Well, Crazy Ivan's crazy.
The technical's at no penalty or bonus.
Yeah.
So
Right, the covert's at -2 and the tactical's at -2.
I was about to say, covert may be a little bit better for me because my streetwise is D10 plus 2.
Well, again,
Yeah.
if you're in support, it doesn't matter. Whatever
Just-
you want to use.
Just giving heads up.
Okay. Alright, so it looks like the players have made a decision. They have worked out who's going to go where. Now, Jennifer's already thrown some story implications in here. She's pulling some stuff from our Twitter feed and going with the attack against the water supply in the United States. So that's going to be one of the stories in play. We're going to find out where Valor's going as part of his story in the global operation. And then we've got Crazy Ivan supporting Gremlin on a covert mission. And we're going to figure out what's going on there. But since you already implicated that you had a sense of story, why don't you tell us what is going on to solve this tactical mission?
Okay. Well, we've got all of the guys on the ground already.
Mhm.
They were concerned about a lot of trucks coming in that weren't identified. They weren't exactly sure how the water supplies were going to be attacked.
Mhm.
With a tactical challenge like this, it looks like it would make the most sense story-wise for it to be just a full frontal Venom's going to come in and blow stuff up, and we need to stop them.
Alright, so you're putting yourself in defense of one of the major water supply
Water
places.
supplies. Mhm.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds great to me. What are you doing to support that?
I think I'll be in the water with my athletics. Just,
I like it.
yeah, I mean, I've got this brand new skill. I might as well utilize it. Perhaps there's been some satchel explosives dropped along a dam, perhaps.
Okay.
Reservoirs typically have dams. So I could be swimming under the surface looking for the frogmen, looking for the venom frogmen.
And taking them out?
Yeah.
Alright, well, what we've got going to be Venom Sea Serpents is exactly what you find under there. And you are going in all athletic, swimming, and fighting and taking them out. So, what is that? Fighting check then? Or are you going for the swimming part?
I can do either. They're either D10.
Alright, well, I like the swimming. I like that a lot better. So what's going to happen now is Ed is going to go ahead and roll, and he's up against a -2 penalty, but no additional problems, so let's go and make the roll.
It's not an opposed roll.
No, none of these came up snafu or disaster, more's the pity. If it had been a snafu or disaster, I'd be rolling in opposition to it. And I could spend GM bennies on this.
Oh, well then I
you
suppose I
can't.
should be glad.
It is what it is.
Oh,
9.
look at you.
Alright, so it is a 9, you are at a -2, so that
Mhm.
brings us to a 7. So you have a success, not quite to the raise.
Can I do extra effort?
You can. So one of the rules that we apply, this was, you first discovered this, perhaps if you're a Savage Worlds fan, in Savage Rifts, which is an additional option you can have for Benny. So normal Benny play, Ed could spend a Benny to re-roll. We allow extra effort, which is to spend a Benny and then add a single d6 to the result. So he would hand me his Benny and roll a d6 to add to his 7.
7 plus 5.
Becomes a 12. So suddenly he's got a success and 2 raises. Ergo, he now applies a +3 to Tundra's efforts. And what is Tundra up against? What's going on with her?
Oh, Tundra's up on top of and she's going inside
All right.
the actual building.
The superstructure.
The superstructure, exactly so. And who knows what she's going to find once she gets in there, but knowing her, she's just going to go right in and find out.
All right. Well, there are actually venom constrictors everywhere. They're the sort of infiltration and destroy things.
All those poor
folks.
souls.
And you are going to take them out 1 by 1 by 10.
I am.
All right. So you are at -2 because of the card, but Ed gave you a +3, which means you have a net +1.
Oh, I'm going to go ahead and re-roll.
All right. So, she's spending a Benny to re-roll that because she wants to jack up the successes. She knows that they need an average of 3 successes if they want an excellent
That is
mission
better.
success. So you actually end up with 11 because of the net +1, and thanks to him, 12, which means you in fact get the 3 successes that are necessary.
Yes, for freedom.
For freedom. Now, one of the best parts about that is that they know, and it's in the rules, is that as long as you get 3 or more successes on any given challenge, that gives you a free redraw on the next round. Because basically, early success means you've got an advantage against the enemy, and you can use that to manipulate cards. That's a great thing for, say, if you have a team and nobody bothered to take either the logistics path or the command path to help manipulate these cards, you're going to have to kind of suck it through the first round. But then, excellent success can buy you some additional redraws. So what happens then is they report back with a successful mission, and we move on to either Valor or the team of Gremlin and Crazy Ivan.
Let Ivan and
All right.
Gremlin take it.
So Ivan and Gremlin, what's the story?
So, since at the end of the side where we found out where or a good part of the Venom's bases were in relationship to that, Gremlin's going to go into one of the Dream Towers to reverse engineer.
So they're going after the psionic tech that Venom used during the Psy War, and Gremlin, being a high-tech engineer specialist, wants to break in and get the information necessary to reverse engineer. What is Ivan doing to support this?
Well, if he's going to look for the proper technology, I figured by this time we would probably have had some black marketeers getting their mitts on some of the equipment after the battle. So I'm going to use my streetwise to locate either computer files or documentation or actual equipment that has been removed from the site to be sold on the black market, so we can recover and get a full picture.
Very good. All right. So you go ahead and make your streetwise. You are floating -2 here. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Full bonus! 17.
Oh, my God. So he gets 17. That's a success with 3 raises. Ergo, he's putting a...
No, that's a... Yeah, okay, yeah, 3 raises. Sorry.
So
4.
So was that 17 before the -2?
That was after the milestone.
So yes, so 4, 6. Yeah, that gives you a +4. So +4 on top of the -2 means you're at a net +2.
All right.
And what are you rolling?
A D12 plus 5
On.
electronics.
Oh, so you're using electronics. You're actually just you're taking the gear and all right, very good. Oh my God, this is insane. Gremlin's really, really good at this.
Oh, yes, he is. Look at that.
11 plus
4.
4 is a 15.
Didn't you say you're also at a +5, or is that with his bonus?
Oh, he plus 4.
So
yeah,
let's
sorry.
reverse it. You were at a -2, but he gave you a +4, so you're at a net +2 thanks to his efforts. So that's before any of your bonuses.
So then it's going to be a
13 plus whatever you have.
13 plus 5 is an 18.
18. So, in other words, 4 successes. So, you guys are blowing the doors off this particular set of challenges, and that's going to be an additional redrawn card, as you are, in fact, able to get a hold of the Dream Tower technology, and you are well on your way. Now, as a GM, I get to also have influence in the story. So it's not like, boom, I automatically know everything. No, what it means is you are having success. You've successfully acquired technology, and you have some initial successes. And further technical challenges could be used to further advance that reverse engineering effort. That leaves Valor alone solving a technical challenge.
And what are the skills that can be used on that?
That's computers, electronics, education, healing, investigation, logistics, psionics, repair, science, and spellcasting.
I'm going to go computers.
Okay.
A technical challenge. So, on the Worldwide News Network, there have been reports of Venom agents around the world committing thefts.
Right.
One of which was, I believe, the Smithsonian, where a small box was stolen. So I want to go through their computer system, trying to see what kind of infiltration was done, and then see if I can backtrack that to the source.
Roger that. So you are actually attempting to feed successful information into that investigation, because again, we're trying to figure out all the different things that Venom's up to. Well, you're on your own, but it is situation normal, so no penalties.
I don't like that result.
All right.
An 8, so that's going to be 2 successes.
8 is 2 successes. Well, your fellows picked up an extra success over there, so that still keeps the average no problem. Now, this does not necessarily put you on the path to blowing the doors off, but very, very good successes. So you are very successful in following that path, and you're picking up information about something called the Shroud of Darkness. Don't know what that means yet, but that is a phrase that is coming across that you're able to shed out and say, find out more information about this. So the team has successfully completed all 3 of those, no problem. They're going to get 2 free redraws. What would happen next is we would have 4 cards come out on the next round, which means it's going to be a little bit harder. And of course, because it's a 5-man team, and I made it really complicated, they'd end up with 5 cards in the last round, so they'd all be solo. That's really not nice to do, but I just wanted you guys to see some variety, so I made it a little more difficult. But anyway, the 4 cards that would come out, they would have the 1 free redraw because of special ability, and because 2 of them were 3 or better, they'd have 2 other free redraws. So they have a lot more chance to manipulate things towards their own favor. So that's an example of how plans and operations works. A round of that, there'd be 2 more rounds, and at the end of that, they would, we'd figure out what kind of mission successes they got, including bonus bennies, possibly bonus action cards, which they would use in the boss fight. And this would lead us probably to going, if this is a full game session, we'd end up with a cool tactical session with maps and bad guy miniatures and everything, at which point they would have advantages, including an initiative advantage and bonus bennies and things like that, against the bad guys in the big final boss fight, and that would be a complete Freedom Squadron session. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys get a kick out of that. Please post in the commentary section any questions you have, and I'll be happy to help you guys even get a better handle on this. But now you can see why this is one of the more interesting innovations that comes out from the Freedom Squadron project. Thank you for being a part of this, and thank you for supporting.